All right. I am back again. Welcome to the Troy Graham Experience, Daddies Lounge, episode number 7. I actually had to go and count them just to be sure I'm putting in the right numbers because I was always one behind recently. I've just been one behind, you know, but it's lucky number 7, as they say. But yeah, today was a struggle. Well, first of all, hope all is well with everyone. Today was definitely a struggle, somewhat of a mental struggle to come on because I was like, here it is 4:30, and usually I have a concept of what I want to talk about the day before or 2 days in advance. But it's 4:30 and I haven't created anything. It's nothing. Like I said, I have a routine. I get some sleep. I get some eat. I get some sleep. Once I get in the house, at least 2 hours, 3 hours of sleep. Because I get up at, excuse me, at 4 in the morning. And then I don't get back in here till about noon, right? So once I'm back in, I eat, I sleep for about 3 hours. Then I just come up with the concept of where I'm headed today with this conversation, right? And I had nothing. So I do what I normally do. I turned on some positive stuff, some positive affirmation videos, and shut up and listen. And that's how I came up with the concept of today's show. That and a conversation I had with my youngest son, yesterday. He said something that was very profound to me. I didn't think that they were paying attention, but I guess they were. All right, but it's you get up and you drip. It's not on the day. See, every day I want to do it. Want to the days I schedule for myself to do this Daddy's Lounge show. I want to do it, but not every day I really feel like doing it. But I'm just so driven to do it. Nothing's gonna stop me. Nothing. Once I set my mind in a direction, that's where I'm headed. But yeah, the subject matter today is that your words are not just sound; they speak life or death. You know, so that's what I'm speaking on today. But let's back up a little bit. I always have to go back to come forward, right? Always have to go back to come forward. There was a time that my children weren't listening at all. They tuned me out, right? Excuse me, I got the good beet juice. I mean, I got a big jug today, but they uh they tuned me out. It was just womp 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 womp. That's all they heard. But I was the one trying trying to get them to go in a different direction. They were out there wilding out a little bit, right? So it got to the point where I was like, I guess this is when I'm supposed to grow wings and fly away. And I remember how many times I said that to myself. I could easily just leave. I don't have to be all. I don't have to be. No, they when I grow, then I'll leave. You know, you know, their mama could move back in the house. She could deal with them or not. Don't care. That's where I was. Like I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I used to tell them all the time. You want a good father? Be good children. How about that? You're in your teens now. How about be good teenagers? Everybody else is making a transition. They're either going this way or they're going over the mountain or they're making a positive transition that way. What are you doing? And I would speak these words to them. I would speak it to them and I would just constantly do that. Just using different vocabulary sometimes to try and get my point across to these young men, right? Like I said, their sister was already grown and out the house, so I didn't. Her and I had a different relationship. So yeah, but they were coming into the world at that point. They were young teenagers smelling themselves, and my grandmother used to tell me, if you're not here, you're going to feel. I don't know what means, but every Jamaican older person, But anyway, I remember those words that I constantly told them. I remember that. Said, man. I remember one time I said it to him. I don't have to be here. I really don't have to be here. Mm-hmm. I could just bounce and go someplace else. I don't have to be here. Mm-hmm. I could go live down south and save money, and I could do what you do. Fall on your face, whatever. I wasn't in the mood. Part of me was like, I've had enough. And the other part was like, if you walk away, you'll always be burdened by the sin of what you that you never walked in your blessing, because that's what children are, a burden and a blessing. So I was having this war, internal war. One part of me was saying this, the other part of me was kind of like in the old cartoons, the devil and the angel on your shoulder. The devil was like, the hell with them. Angel was saying, look, it's tough right now, man. It's tough. This is the pivotal point in your fatherhood. This will shape them and shape you. What you gonna do? You gonna listen to him, Mister? If you walk away, everything will be so much better and easier. Or you gonna listen to me and put your foot down and say, nope. I'm regaining. I'm taking back what's mine, which is the, which is to be the authority figure and not give up. And that was the battle. That was one hell of a battle for a while. And those words, one was speaking life and one was speaking death. There was no middle ground at that point. Because if I would have left, things would have turned out much different. But I stayed and I went through a lot of hell. But this is what happens. You get buried, and I do mean buried, in pain and not knowing sometimes where the hell they are. You bury yourself in just guilt and self doubt, and what could I have done better, or what am I not doing, or why do I have to do this by myself, and just all those questions ride you actually. They ride your spirit and weigh it down like a damn anchor. Mm. Yeah, I don't like revisiting all those times, but yeah, man. And I remember I wasn't speaking too much positive then. I was on the other side of it. Like, I don't care. That was my thing with everything. I don't care. And then something happened to wake me up out of that funk. Probably something too personal that I don't even want to say on here, but something happened to wake me up out that damn funk. Probably because I didn't like the person I was becoming. Because it's not me to shun people, and I'm a caring person, so it's hard to turn that off, right? So I was fighting this internal battle of being someone I felt I needed to be and not being who I really was. Be yourself. No, you need to be this. You need to be this hard because they can't see you break. But sometimes you have to break to be reborn, man. You truly have to be broken to be reborn. You know? So that's what happened. Like in the process of that, I was meeting all these different young ladies, and that really wasn't me either. I remember I told one, I spent the night over her house. I told her in the morning that, as much as I'd like to stay with you, we're never going to be together because you're shattered and I'm broken. She's like, what? I said, no. I said, somebody shattered you. Your pain is written just all over your spirit, but my heart is broken. So how could two people like that ever stay together? We'll only be capable of meaning one thing to each other, and that's not a relationship. That's just physical need. And she looked at me like, how do you know all this about me? I said, because you wear it, just like I wear mine. I'm an empath. I see things. I feel things. I feel things. So I told her, even if I don't stay with you, because I known that particular person for a while. So I told her, I really just want you happy. If that's with me, cool. If that's not with me, I hope the good Lord finds you that someone that fills up that love in your heart that you lost and brings all the pieces of you back together better than ever. And sure enough, uh, funny story, she was actually she actually got engaged to one guy, and then I think she got married. I think she did get married at one point, short lived, right? Or engaged or whatever. And then my mom posted a picture on Facebook. Everything's on your timeline. So that my mother called me all fussing. Who's this woman you engaged to? I'm like, I'm not engaged. I'm not married. I'm divorced. Remember? No, no. I saw it on Facebook. I've been on Facebook in days. I don't know what she was talking about. She's like, go look. This woman got a picture of this who I thought was you. I said, Ma, I know who she is, yeah, but I don't know who he is. And I got so many calls that how this man looked like me, right? And I kept telling people I'm prettier than this man. But anyway, fast forward to current day, she's married now and happy, I, just like the words I spoke. All I want from you is just to be happy. Then I realized something. Why am I speaking those same words into my life so I can help these stubborn ass sons of mine to go where they need to be? Hmm? And that's when it hit me with the concept of the show today. Well, not then, but those memories that came. That's what guided the show topic today. Your words are not just sound; they speak life or death. So, after going through that battle with them in their teens, uh, start to slow down and they start to come back a little bit. And we were able to have these conversations. And I kept telling them, the direction you headed in, you're not going to like the end. But if you just sit back and talk to me and listen to me, you have a chance to save yourselves before anything bad happens. Right? And I love y'all and I pray for y'all a lot because I don't have the power to keep doing this. Keep doing this as in constantly repeating myself and y'all not listening. You know, I told them that. I said a part of me could easily, you could come home one day and I'm gone. And since none of you have a key to the house anymore, what you gonna do? Huh? I won't be here. I'll be gone. I'll get the key to your. I'll give the key to your mama, and she can have the house. I'm gone. I don't even care. And you're like, Daddy, you gonna leave just like that? Hell yeah. I explained. I sat down and explained. I said, take a look around. This is what you're doing. X, Y, Z, A, B, C. This is what you're doing. You know, you way over there, far away from the realm or the atmosphere of what I'm teaching you. You in another diaspora, way over there. You got to come back over here so I could be of some help to you. If you over there, I'm not going to constantly put myself in danger and then go through all these emotions and cry and carry on and rescue you all the damn time and then leaving me a wreck. I don't need that at this age. You know, and at that time I was suffering from a heart condition as well. So I was like, I don't need that. Stress can kill me. So I told him that. I told him it's your choice. You want a good father, be better children. That's all I'm asking. You be good children. Well, if you leave, you know what we gonna do? I said I don't care. I really don't care at this point. But if you don't care, then I don't know. They just looked at me with a blank stare. It's like I'm gonna stay out of love because I told them. I prayed on it and I got the message. Before I die, I will see my sons become good men who do great things. And you're probably wondering, why can't they just become great men? Because not all great men are good men, but there are many good men that go on to do great things. Okay? Now, we had this conversation, which kind of shook them up because they were still young in their teens, you know. And I said, look around at your friends. What's the one thing none of them have that you have? And they looked at each other and said, a father. None of their friends had fathers. None of them. I said, exactly. They either have the mother's boyfriend, who usually ain't no damn good, or they usually have the mother who's usually angry in this case. And those are the voices they heard. Even the people that tried to help them in church or in school, they get shut down by all the negativity that was in them. Right? I thought about that today as I did started this show today. I thought about all that, and I'm purposely not getting into what was going on, and because not all things need to be put on social media, but it was a rough time, you know. Let's just say that I was Moses and I built the ark, and I was like, it's your last chance to get on. If not, God help you. So they happened to step onto the ark, and I was able to pull them back a little bit. And yesterday, I had this conversation with my youngest son, youngest being 20. So I told him, your dad is in his 50s now. You know, he had a chance to live his dreams. He still can to some extent. His dreams have changed. But I want y'all to go live your dreams, but I want y'all to be responsible with the gift that you were given. Because you and your brother could rap. I've heard your music. I don't like I don't like everything you're speaking because you can manifest that into your life. I don't like it. Don't like the content whatsoever. If you did some of those things, then you need to move on from them damn things and be blessed that you didn't, pay the ultimate price for what you was doing. I said, okay, imagine this. I said you have to be careful with the gift that God gave you because you can use it to go this way or that way with it. You're not just speaking. Your words are not just sound. I said, I'll speak it to him. I said, just imagine if all I talked to you about was negative things when y'all were coming up. Yes, I was hard and I was a disciplinary, but that's not all you heard from me. I told y'all were going to be good men and do great things. I told y'all every morning there's good, better, best. There's good, better, and best. But you all are going to be great. And I want you to speak that every morning. I said that to them when they got out my car to go to school. Every morning, you're gonna be great. You're gonna be great, right? And I meant that. And then at night, when they were young, I would put them to sleep with either two songs. One is Nas, "I Know I Can Be What I Want to Be If I Work Hard at It." Somebody help me out. If it wasn't that song, it was Reverend Hart, "God's Up to Something Good" with John P. Keith. God's up to something good. And then every night we'd read Psalms 23. So everybody would read a different part of it. You know, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I should fear no evil. So yeah, I kept hammering these things into their head, you know. I hammered it into their souls. So I'm talking to this young man here, my son, and he's like, well, now that you think about it, Dad, if you never really did have them talks with us, we would have turned out just like our friends, and they doing time. Yeah, you think that was by mistake? No, that was God's hand touching you, boy. That wasn't by mistake. You know, it wasn't by mistake that you weren't with him when he did what he did this time. It wasn't by mistake that you weren't with his brother when his brother did what he did that time. It wasn't by mistake that you weren't with your cousin when he did whatever he did. You know, one of my sons told me, well, I heard your words in my head, and that's why I didn't move forward and ride with this cat to wherever they were going. And they thanked me for being there. Years later, they all said they're sorry, and then they thanked me for actually being there. Right when I was willing to leave, if I would have left, I wouldn't have had them today. They wouldn't be here because they wouldn't have the voice in their head. And that's how powerful your words are, and that's why I gotta listen to the positive stuff every day before I come on, so I can have some direction. Because nobody driving this car of fatherhood is perfect. Not once. You play like that. You're lying. But I don't know the perfect fathers. I didn't have a guide. No one handed me a how-to book and said, "Look, this is 100%. You do this, it'll always work." Nobody gave me that. Well, maybe somebody gave it to somebody out there listening and watching, but nobody gave that to me. You know. But if you realize in life, it takes the worst to be the first sometimes because they have a story. And reality is, we identify with people through what they've gone through in life. Again, back to the words. Your words are not just sound. No, they shape you and mold you, and they tell people a lot about you. And I was, phew, see, I was frustrated because I called this little boy today, right before the show, and I sent him the link, tell him to come on. And boy ain't never called me back, but that's how they are, man. He can find time to talk to the little girls. He can't find no time to talk to his daddy. I keep telling you, boy, you got one daddy. You gonna wake up one day, you ain't gonna be there. You're gonna be upset with yourself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, excuse me. Chewing ice and blowing my nose at the same time, and you all don't need to hear or see any of that. That's that thing, man. This ice chewing and these allergies. But it's like I've been telling myself to start my garden. I haven't started my garden yet this year. I put a top of a pineapple out there because I'm going to grow a pineapple this year. It's going to take 2 years. 2 years, but I'm going to do it. So, but the rest of the stuff I want to do, the strawberries, the sweet corn, the cucumbers, I'll do some tomatoes. What else? I'm going to grow my mint. I had some mint before that I was doing. I haven't done them yet. I keep telling myself to do them, or I get to it. And that's what's holding me. I hold myself up with that foolishness. Get to it, get to it, get to it. No, just do it. Don't don't keep saying you're gonna get to it and then you never do it. You know? So yeah. I remember I sit down and I have to just listen sometimes and I have these conversations with myself and I'm like, where am I going with this thing here, this Daddy's Lounge? Where do I want it to go and how do I want it to go? And then I just kinda sit back and be quiet. Because I write down what I want. I do what's called wants and needs all on the same paper. Just take a paper. One side is wants, the other one is needs. What do I want this to become, and what do I need it to do? It's two different things. So I'm driving it down the middle to achieve both, which is fatherhood is like that too, man. You're never really on one side of the road. You're basically standing and walking in the middle of the road all the damn time because if you swing too much to this side, you might push them too far this way. If you swing too much to that side, then you might push them too far that way. You just have to guide them. At certain stages, I told them, I'm your father. You're real young, so I got to hold your hand for right now. Once you get to here, I'm not holding your hand anymore. I'm still your father, or I'm more or less your guide. Your guide to not just as a father, but to your own manhood. But I'm not holding your hand no more. It's fight. You either fight or flight. You either fight or fail, or fly or fail. I hammered that into their sister head, and she flew. She's doing good. I want them, and they look up to her, so that's good, right? So I told them you can do the same as she did. Stay focused and push yourself. What do you think she got? She's all that driven and they say yeah she act like you. She don't she get in her way and you can't move her. Yeah, a lot of it is focus. A lot of it is just stubborn. You reach a certain age, you're not stubborn anymore. You're determined to do what you're gonna do. You're determined. But if you look at things through the lens of wisdom, then yes, my hands are ashy. Okay, stop it. So sometimes you get slowed down on purpose, so the good Lord could show you something. And He says, stop for a second, or shift it back down. Come out of sixth gear, go back up to third or fourth gear, because I got something I want to show you. I got something I want to show you, so just relax. And you hear that voice in your head, and how it comes out to you is how you interpret that is how you go about walking and how you go about teaching or guiding, like I like to say. Because believe me when I tell you, it was times that there's no way in the world the show it ever came to pass. And this man you see here in front of you wouldn't even be the same man. You know, I'm no Usain Bolt, but I got running shoes, baby, just like every other man. And when it's time to go, I go. I don't look back. I don't apologize. I just take flight. But but I'm not no great bird. Hmm. And you take flight and you go. But what are you leaving behind when you leave? It's a good question. What are you leaving behind when you leave? And I told them, I'm not leaving here until I see you, see all of you, you know, walk the path of your dreams and live it. Become those good men that do great things. Have people turn back to you and say, thank you, you touched my life. You know? And that's the importance. I've learned so much about feeding into others, being a father, because when you by yourself, whether you marry, whatever, just dating, you can say what the hell you want. Of course there's consequences when you're in a relationship too, but when you're a father, those consequences could shape a life. It could mold and shape a life, or it can destroy it. Can destroy it. You know, everybody that's going to be watching this or hearing this has a memory of something that their father said to them way back when. They have that memory that my father, yeah, my father this used to say this all the time to me, man. And now I find myself saying it to my child. It's something that that man said, and it just so clung to your soul. And other people hear their father, and they spoke their life, their child's life, into existence. Because that child might be behind bars now, or that child is just didn't accomplish everything he wanted to accomplish. And he said, "Yeah, my father always told me, you ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna do nothing. You're gonna be just like me. You ain't gonna do nothing." How that work? Hmm. Wow. Think about that. Everybody has a memory of something that their father used to say to them. Ain't one person that, unless you never met your father, but you have a memory of an uncle or somebody, an elder in your family, or it don't even have to be your father, just the person who raised you, mama, grandma, auntie, whoever. You have that memory of them saying something. You have it. It's right there. It's right. It's right there. Hmm. That if you don't hear, you're gonna feel. That came from my grandmother. Good, better, and best. That came from my grandmother. You know, Uncle really didn't say too much. Yeah. And I met one gentleman by the name of John Topper. He was a deacon in church, and he ran the youth program. He at another church, in the basement of another church. Was pool tables down there and other things, and we would go in there and hang out and have conversation. Uh, so he used to always tell me, you're scared. Like you feel like you're angry, scared, and you're using the church to get away. You're not really coming to church. You're using it. I'm like, I was 15. I didn't understand what the hell he was talking about. Right? I don't know what he was talking about. Then he broke it down to me like it's something going on in your life, but you're too afraid to face it, and so you use the church. You come here for Bible study and stuff, and then you come on Sunday just to get away. What's going on, man? Talk to me. So after time, I did speak to him. I started hanging with him, and he was telling everybody he was my grandfather. Now I remember a lot of his words. I remember a lot of his words. There was another gentleman, Carl Snowden. He was my guidance counselor in college, Carl Snowden. And he's a very intuitive man. He picked things up very quickly. And so uh, I was looking to go teach in Japan when I came back from the military. I was about 21. Well, this was a year after I come back, so I was about 21. And Carl was like, that's a good idea, man. They're paying well. At the time, they were paying 75,000, and they would take care of your living quarters. Basically, they would give you an apartment in Japan and pay you to come over to teach like English. I was going to teach English in Japan back then. So then he said to himself, "Do you have any family in Japan?" I said, "No." He said, "You speak the language?" I said, "No." And he said, "You don't have a heart problem?" I said, "Yeah." So he said, "Who gonna be there with you when something happens? If you get sick or something?" I said, "Nobody. I'm not gonna get sick." He said, "So you're gonna spend years and years in Japan and never get sick? Hmm? You're gonna be out there by yourself, 100% by yourself, and you're never gonna get sick." I didn't give it any. When I started on that journey to be a teacher in Japan, I didn't give that no thought. I was gone. I was gonna get my degree, associates in English, and then apply for a job. And in my mind, I was gonna get it. Then I'm gone. I'm going to Japan, never to be seen again. Maybe on the holidays. Gone. And he's the one that put us, kind of made us, gave me a common sense view of what I was doing. After that conversation with him, I decided to go in a different direction. Then, is, you know, another story I could share with you about how powerful words are. It was so I went to see my father when he was locked up. I was about 15 years old. I'll never forget that neither. This was in Jamaica. The Jamaican jail is way different than American jail. Anyhow, it was like 20 men in one cell, only four bunks. My father had a bottom bunk all by himself. And you could actually go to a cell at that time and talk to them, right? So I went and I was talking to him, and he pulled me close, and he's like, "Why are you here?" I said, "Well, I came to see you." What I heard, the 15-year-old, was, "I don't want you here. I don't want you here. Go on, leave. I don't want you here." That's what I heard at 15. Fact of the matter, he said, is that I don't want you to see me here. But in the 15-year-old mind, I heard, "What are you doing here?" And that bothered me for so many years till I got older and something happened. Some pain brought back memories. And I'm like, okay, this is what he really said. Now, the man who raised me now, right? What I learned from him, because he doesn't say too much, what I learned from him is that, okay, he, when they first got the house, Yeah, they owned this nice size house in Severn, nice house. And he said to my mom, you know what? I'm gonna build you a deck. She's like, I would love that. So what he did was, I think the anniversary of her birthday or something. He started it like days in advance, right? I think maybe 3, 4 days before her birthday or something like that. Well, probably longer than that because we had to get the wood and other things and all that. Because I woke up every morning to help him. Well, he woke me up. I didn't wake up. He woke me up. So uh, we got to building the deck, right? Even the neighbor next door was a contractor. He came over. He was helping. So on that day, it had to be a birthday because he wouldn't have sent her away on her anniversary. So probably was her birthday, and he sent her out to get her hair done, nails done, and all of that mess, right? And he said, you know, by the time you come back, I'm gonna have it done for you, right? So man, we got that thing done, but he even had the lights up and everything out there. He had the, you know how you hook up with the bright little strobe lights and whatever. So he turned everything off and it was pitch black out there. So when my mom pulled up, he was just sitting. He was sitting around with his at the dining room table and his head down like this. And she was like, "Yeah, what's wrong?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. We ran into some problems and couldn't finish the deck. I'm sorry. I really wanted to get this done for you on your birthday because I promised, but I'm sorry. I just, you know, couldn't finish it." So she's like, "That's all right. That's all right." And he's like, "Yeah, but you know." Then he stepped out. He pulled the sliding door back and he stepped out. She was like, "Wait, where you going?" And he didn't say nothing. He just stepped out into the blackness and closed the door. And then she goes out and she turns on the light and everything's so bright and pretty. She's like, "Oh, you finished it. You lied." And they were so happy. But that's how he spoke, by doing. I'll never forget that either. I'll never forget that day because my mother's face was all lit up. She's like, well, "Where you going? If you didn't finish the deck, why are you stepping out?" Oh my God! And then he out there with the biggest smile on his face. That was amazing, man. That was amazing to me. Yeah. He more or less did it. He didn't speak too much. He's the type that just do, you know, just do. It wasn't so much about the power of his words. He just did. So yeah, but let me lead into this. Freddie and Stank Davis. Yeah, good to see you too. What's up, Freddie? But anyhow, right? Back to this conversation I had with my son, which led up to what I'm talking about today about the power of words. He told me that if I wasn't around, constantly just hammering stuff in their head, they would probably be in jail like their friends and their cousin. That's that's the that's the contributing factor that all three of them didn't have a father. Did not have a father. Oh hell. So yeah, sorry about that. I hit the wrong button here, touching stuff. But yeah, that was a contributing factor. What's up, Major? So imagine I keep thinking to myself, I'm glad I didn't listen to those voices in my head telling me that I could just leave. Even after telling them that hell, I could just leave. I don't need to be doing that. You know, I could leave. Right? What would have happened? Power of my words would have destroyed me and them. My words and my deeds. would have destroyed all of us. And I would feel guilty for the rest of my life, and they would have been destroyed. They got, and now all they have is opportunity. They have nothing but opportunity. So yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta figure out how to get rid of this thing here. Okay, I see it. So yeah, and that's why I was a little frustrated because I wanted this boy to come on the show today and just break down, have a little repartee with me. The damn fool won't eat. I won't. Then they were gonna have the DC to call me back. But that's when you have grown kids, a lot of times when they reach a certain age, they'll actually call and have a good conversation with you. Or when they at this age, they'll call just to hit you up for something. Even when they have money, they still want yours. No, no. It's just back in the day where the brother used to say to the other brother, "Sorry, my brother, you gonna have to get your own." Right? And that's what I tell them. Sorry, my brother, you're gonna have to get your own. One of these days, I'm gonna do a Q&A show. I would love to do that. Not just not just with the kids, but the children, young men, because the kids are goats. Children, they're not children no more. They're still my children, but they're not children anymore. I'd love to do a Q&A with fathers and their children. Hell, if anybody wants to come on and bring their child on and just go have a Q&A with them, that'd be great. I'm going to do that. I've already done that with my own children, but I want to flip it this time and have them ask me questions. I was asking them questions last time. Now they're a little older. Ask me anything you want. I haven't lied to you once, even when it didn't make put me in a good light. You know, I still answered your question. So I would love to do that. That's the next thing I'm going to work on doing. That's actually harder to do than having guests on a boxing show every week. Isn't that funny? I could get strangers to come out and talk faster than I can get my own. Am I the only one? Dowdy out there. Am I the only one that goes through that? Yeah, I could start fire with my hands. See? But yeah, it's really want that kid to come on today. But yeah, like I told him, I'm not gonna keep calling you, man. I'm always gonna be there, but I don't chase anything anymore. This is my time now. I gave you your time. It's my time. Cause he was like, well, I could always come down here and live with you. No, you cannot. Your father walk around in his drawers, and he's 54, and he has female friends that stop by, and we do adult things. You can't come to my house at all. Yeah, that's a lie, baby. You come visit for 3 days, then you have to go back to your place. 3 days. Your daddy could take you for 3 days. But Troy, you're their father. How could you talk to them? Because I can. If you're honest with yourself, that's how you talk to your kid. Very loving, but very, very honest. I mean, because they gonna have to grow, whether I'm around or not. They gonna have to grow. Hmm. This is where I like to have some commercials. You know, just have some commercials, so I can take a deep breath and Let my voice rest a little bit, and you all can hear something different. Yeah. So if there's any sponsors out there, you know what? Teddy's peanut butter. I eat that a lot. I check out. That's organic peanut butter. Teddy's peanut butter. If you listening, Teddy's, you know, I'm definitely looking for some sponsors. And I drink hemp. Well, yeah, I took the hemp chocolate milk off the shelves, and you know what company it is too. You took it off the shelves. Bring that back. Bring the hemp chocolate milk back. I love it. Because see, if you don't do it, then I have to go get hemp seed, water, and fair trade chocolate and make it myself. I need to do all that. We can just bring the joint back, right? I can't even. I can't even find the brand I use anymore. I have to use. I drink a lot of oat milk now. Oat. Yeah. I think the first person I saw drink oat milk was Bama. What's that Bama name? Good Lord, Punch Drunk. Yeah, that's the first Bama I seen drink oat milk. Yeah. So I'm going to start making my own ice cream. Yeah, I just need to go out. It's all you need really is either heavy cream or coconut cream. Either one. You mix. You put in whatever you want in there, whether you want chocolate, whatever. Me, I do this protein shake. It has bananas in it, or apples, organic peanut butter, raw oatmeal, raisin, and I cheat and I put for some sweet. I'll put honey nut Cheerios in there, and I use 2 cups of ice and some oat milk. I don't even know how much milk I put in there. Probably 2 cups. Stir that thing up. Turns out delicious. Oh, cinnamon. I'm gonna start putting nutmeg in there as well. So it's bananas or apple, or you could do both. You could put the banana and the apple in there. Raw oatmeal. Well, if you like the steel cut one, put them in there too. I use the raw one, those Quaker oats, not the instant one, the raw one, right? So what I say so far: banana, apple, oatmeal, and I'll still put the raisins in there, the cinnamon, organic peanut butter, and the oat milk. Or you don't have to use oat milk. I just choose to. You can use almond milk, whole milk, organic milk, whatever. And I mix that thing up, and it turns out to be one wonderful stick to your bones, keep you regular smoothie, and it takes care of my sweet tooth. So once you add the heavy whipping cream, that's what it is, heavy whipping cream to it. Blend it all up. You could put it in a nice thick baking dish, cover it in a foil, put it in the freezer for about good 4 or 5 hours or whatever. You'll have ice. You have the consistency of ice cream. You have your own ice cream. So I'm gonna make pralines and cream, rum raisin, just a few things I got on my mind to make. Well, actually, I'm not gonna do any of that. Not at first. Not at first. So not at first. I'm not gonna do that. But I am gonna make the. Excuse me. Oh, make 2 separate ones. One with banana, one with apple. But they all gonna have the oatmeal, the honey nut Cheerios, the raisins. I'm gonna throw some other nut in there, the peanut butter. I'll probably throw some almonds in there, right? And yes, I know I'm way off topic because I'm winding down. There's 6 minutes left, so yeah, these are things. And if and for like I said, for any of y'all who having blood flow issues, and you know what I'm talking about, put away that blue pill, put away that blue chew, invest in some beet juice. You could add pineapple in there. You could add apple. You can have pineapple and apple, right? Put them both in there if you want to. You want some kick? Put some nutmeg in there. Blend it all up. And ginger if you like. Yeah, I wouldn't put the nutmeg in here. I put the nutmeg in with the other smoothie with the banana and everything else. Not in this one. Put the ginger. This one, you take the beets. That's gonna be the roots of it. Pineapple or apple or both, and then you could put some ginger in there. Blend that thing up. Now, if you want to and make it a little sweeter, you can either use honey or cane sugar, right? Or maple syrup. Just raw. Make sure they're all raw, not filled with a bunch of sugar and everything else, and that'll sweeten it up a little bit. Like with me, I use three. They're not. When I say tablespoons, they're not the big old tablespoons you buy in stores. I have a measuring spoon, so that size, like a baker's measuring spoon. So I use three of those, right? Put that in there, and it turns out it's not overly sweet at all. It's just sweet enough. So yeah, I'm gonna start just incorporating different things on here while I'm doing this because I'm still a foodie. So father and foodie, the two F's. Yeah, father foodie. Hmm. I see an idea brewing, baby. I see a concept of a concept to an idea coming to life. Come into life. Definitely want to do that. But watch, in a few months, you'll see a little bit more bells and whistles on here. All right. I'm gonna. This is the, staying consistent is what's important to me. I've learned that from watching Coach Malachi. The Counterpunch was another one. Uh, Definitely Nestor Gibbs. Yeah, tell Alabama I gave him some credit for something. But yeah, he's just three very consistent dudes in this game, right? And I want to shout out to Coach too, because when I wasn't doing well, and put, I meant to not have you see that. Uh, when I was doing my crowdfunding for my therapy after the surgery, he always let me put my stuff on his page. He had it on the community's page, but he had it up there nonetheless. But always appreciate the brother for that. And I remember when I started Ring 10 over there on Major Key, right? He was the first one to donate. He spent $100 that night like it was nothing and donated to help boxers. Oh, nobody else. No, I mean nobody. With all their jokes and talking and wickedness, nobody else came through like that. Oh, I want to help the boxers. Yeah, I buy fights. Yeah, that don't help the boxers really because it doesn't go directly to them. That's a fact. But I'm a find some. I'm not gonna speak. I'm not gonna put that out in the air because I have an idea. I don't want anybody taking it from me, but so I'm not gonna put that out here in the atmosphere. But I know I want to do something else. Along with this, I want to go. I want to do something else. Daddy's Lounge will become its own big giant and conglomerate all by itself. Long as I'm here to push that cause, it'll grow. If I'm not here, it won't grow. I will be here. And speaking of being here, I want to let me say thank God. Thank you, God. He gave me a vehicle. I mean, hopefully I wasn't rambling. I don't think I was. I think my points come across like I'm a storyteller. That's what it is. I got many miles to go before I sleep. So along the way, I have a lot of experiences. Can somebody tell me what that's from? Many miles to go before I sleep. The road is long. Remember that song? How many of you sang that in school? The road is long. I learned that in elementary school. Anyhow, thank you for all my blessings. Thank you for those who peeped in and didn't say nothing. Thank you for those who came into the chat, showed me some love. Uh, just thank you. Appreciate it. I'll be back on Friday for episode number eight. Eight, right here, on the fifth floor. Fifth floor. But yeah, thank you. And remember, your words are not just sounds. They hold the power of life and death. Remember that always. Even when you're just talking out not to just out in the public. Your words are not just sound. They hold the power of life and death. On that note, I want to bless up everyone and thank you for coming out. I will see you on Friday. I'll talk some happy stuff on Friday. I get a concept. I drag that Bama on here, my son, and if I can't get him, I grab one of my. I know who I'm going to grab. I think I'll have a surprise guest. I know who I'm going to grab. So I'll see y'all Friday. Always live, love, and live purposely and fill your heart with joy so that you may always laugh. You know, ain't nothing wrong with crying neither. Cleanses your soul. And any of you that are out there at that point like I was and you want to just up and leave, think of the consequences with you out of that picture. Think about it and don't do it. Thank you.